Hi, Genevieve Jacobs from Region Media, and I find myself out at Pialigo with none other than Paul West. Yeah, it's really him. On this day, the ambassador for the Narooma Oyster Festival, which is being launched here just ahead of Easter, which is, of course, a huge time for Canberrans, the coast, for great food. Paul, tell us a little bit more about what we've got on the table in front of us.
So, Jen, we've got a plate of rock oysters from the estuaries of the south coast of New South Wales. And we've also got a giant oyster, just for a bit of prop, because why would you want to be somewhere like this without a giant oyster? I like to take it with me everywhere I travel, actually. It's my constant companion. His name's Billy, and I love him dearly. He's about 7. Good work, Billy. But no, I'm here at, I always get the name of this place wrong, Pialigo. Sorry everyone, Pialigo. And on behalf of the Narooma Oyster Festival, which is coming up, first weekend of May, and I am the ambassador.
Well, look, Billy aside, because let's be honest, that is a challenging looking oyster. Tell me what's special about Narooma oysters.
Well, I think the amazing thing about the rock oysters from Wodonga Inlet and from any of those south coast estuaries is that they become the embodiment of the environment that makes them so unique. You can't go past that I just want to say embodiment again. You can't really find anything else that embodies an environment more wholly than an oyster. We are what we eat, and so is an oyster. And for anyone that's ever travelled down to the beautiful estuaries of the south coast will know that they are incredible pockets of the natural world. And each estuary, each section of an estuary will produce a different expression of the rock oyster. So it's not oysters or oysters, that you can have oysters from the same producer from different spots of one estuary, and they taste totally different depending on the amount of saltwater influence, freshwater influence, the type of seabed that happens underneath the leases. So they're an incredibly complex ingredient, and the thing that I really love about it is that they are totally unique to the south coast of New South Wales, to the New South Wales coastline. They're an endemic native species, and they are one of the most incredible molluscs on Earth, and they grow right there.
Yeah, right there. It's in our backyard. This is spectacular local produce. Now, I actually don't like to muck around with my oysters. I just like to slip them down. I absolutely love the juices. As a chef, do you do anything odd with them? Anything fancy?
Now, I'm a purist as well, Jen, and I believe it's foolhardy to believe that you can improve on perfection. And these oysters, they're one of the most incredible ingredients that you can put in your mouth. They're so complex. They're like a wine in the different expressions that they have. And for me, making toppings for them slows me down too much because I live on the south coast. I've got lots of friends that are oyster farmers. I've worked on an oyster farm for the last 12 months, so usually for me, shucked straight out of the water is the best. Maybe with like my only ingredient there is a little splash of Tabasco.
Tabasco. You see, if I were to do anything, it might be a smidge of soy sauce, the very best soy sauce, possibly. The Narooma Oyster Festival is actually probably the biggest festival down the coast. It's a really substantial event, isn't it?
It's a very big event on the South Coast calendar. It's the biggest food festival on the entire South Coast region, and it's right on the foreshore of Wodonga Inlet. So if you've never been there, it's right near where the quarter deck is. That's the kind of famous venue down there in Narooma, and you've got this sprawl of Wodonga Inlet with sand flats and all these beautiful little inlet channels teeming with sea life, and it runs up to the state forests and the national parks that surround Narooma, with Goolga overseeing the entire thing. And especially as when it kind of gets to this time of day, this is a very nice spot where we are right now, Jen. But in the exact same position, if we're at the foreshore in Narooma, the water's edge would be here, the mountain would be there, the sun would be setting over the top of it. The water is crystal clear and blazing blue. Any of you who've driven over the Narooma Bridge on a good day will know how intoxicating that water is. So as far as the venue for a food festival goes, it's pretty hard to beat.
Well, a really fantastic reason for Canberrans to head down the coast, as if we needed any. And I'm pretty hungry. We've got the glasses of bubbly in front of us. Look, also making.
Shuck Billy for you.
Well, no, I don't want you to shuck that enormous thing. I do not want to know what's inside Billy. But look, also making news on the website this week, we've been talking about the imposition of 40k zones on some of Canberra's roads, which is causing a fair bit of consternation. Spectacular photographs from today's Air Force extravaganza celebrating their centenary, and a couple of great stories on the Region Media websites, including one about our very own Michelle Kroll, our photographer, who has spent...
Go, Michelle.
Yeah, go, Michelle. She's there behind the camera. She's an Air Force veteran herself. We're also talking about the standalone Lego store. I know you've got little ones, which is opening up in Canberra. And, Paul, a question for you. We've got a fair bit of information about Canberra's best hot cross buns. Now, the question we're asking on the site is, do you go traditional, the artisanal sourdough with the spice and the fruit, or is it okay to put chocolate in a hot cross bun?
I am a purist with oysters, but for pretty much anything else, I feel like you can just choose your own adventure. I am very impartial to the sourdough, slow ferment, traditional spiced hot cross bun, but if you want to do chocolate, you do you. I don't care.
I reckon that's permission from the man himself if you like chocolate in your buns. Look, all this and more is on the RiotACT. Join us every week for our great big Canberra conversation. We've got a daily and a weekly newsletter. Sign up for those and they'll drop right into your inbox. I'm Genevieve Jacobs. This is Region Media. Hey, shall we hook into the champers? Shall we?
Cheers, Jen.
To the Oyster Festival. Hooray!